The Purdue University Schools of Engineering had the foresight in 1946 to add air breathing and rocket propulsion to the curriculum. In the search for a person to teach in this area, they found Dr. Maurice Zucrow.
The year after World War II ended, Dr. Zucrow joined Purdue Engineering as a professor and tried to answer the national call for more research in rockets and jet propulsion.
Doc Zucrow's first book, published in 1948, broke ground as the first published classroom text treating the subject of air-breathing jet propulsion. These programs were technological groundbreakers for the 1947 through 1955 period. Much of the design data was used by the aerospace industry almost immediately.
What started as a humble beginning with just one building and one surplus heater from the Navy has become multiple buildings and 24 acres, 100 graduate students.
The early high chamber pressure work done at the Jet Propulsion Center foreshadowed the Space Shuttle main engine, which operates at a chamber pressure of 3,260 psi.
I knew that it was Purdue engineers and scientists that were involved in our country's very early parts of the space program effort. And so I decided that I was going to go to Zucrow Labs, that I was going to become an engineer, and that I was going to get involved in our country's space program.
The work that I got to do at Zucrow, designing and building and testing hardware, was the first time that I'd really gotten to take a project from the initial concept stage all the way through to test. So that was really cool, and I really enjoyed doing that, and that's actually what set the stage for the rest of my career.
At Zucrow, we cover it all. We work on gas turbine combustors, compressors, liquid and solid rocket engines, rotating detonation engines, engines that sound like elephants, and detonation experiments that rattle the windows.
We're in front of a giant combustion tube.
Yeah, what it's for is actually testing flame acceleration and deflagration to detonation transition. But what we're interested in as the Sloman guys is blowing stuff up.
All this takes place in an environment that allows us to design, build, and operate our own experiments. This is something you can't find at other university labs.
A lot of test stands that have already been set up that we can just kind of modify, and that's something no other school in the country really has right now. We have more area, we have more test cells, it's really quite amazing. And there are just all these parts just kind of lying around from old tests that we can go through, see if they'll still work, see if we can adapt them.
There are a few labs that can work with hypergolics. Purdue is one of the few places that's able to do this kind of research and be able to handle those materials safely and work with these kinds of propellants is unique.
You can test live energetic materials like propellants and whatnot, so you can burn them directly here. So we can take our 3D printed samples and just directly test them to understand their properties better.
They have a very nice state-of-the-art optical research technology. Huge campus and a huge building and nice propulsion laboratory setup. Oh, it's a really fantastic space here.
When you look at industry, SpaceX, Virgin Galactic, Blue Origin, they hire as much as they can from Zucrow because of the talent in the propulsion industry that we bring forward.
There are definitely a lot of Purdue grads at Blue Origin and throughout the whole private aerospace community. You know, a lot of the hard work, especially out here at Zucrow, students get a lot of that hands-on experience that they can't get at other universities, and so that kind of gives them a leg up.
When I go to interviews, I'm never asked about my GPA. I'm never typically asked about what I do in my classes. I'm asked about what do I do on this rocket team? How did my last test operation go? The experience this team gives you is like nothing else. There's nothing else in the country like this.
My mission in life is to enable us to get off this rock. I want to be part of that effort to design the rockets that get us there and then hopefully beyond.
We dedicate here today as Dr. Zucrow dedicated his team in 1946. And we dedicate ourselves to the everlasting journey to create and disseminate knowledge. We dedicate our support to the talents of Boilermakers, and we dedicate to propel Purdue engineering to the pinnacle of research excellence.